Hello, happy people. Welcome back to my next installment of Tales from the Peace Corps. So today I want to talk about when I got my wisdom tooth or teeth pulled while I was serving in the Peace Corps. For those of you who don't know, I did serve in the Peace Corps for 2 years, from 2014 to 2016, in a small country in Eastern Europe called Moldova. I did small enterprise development there, so essentially business advising for a local nonprofit organization. And upon my return, I've decided to start a series on my channel where I just kind of share some crazy adventures that have happened to me while I was there. So getting my wisdom tooth pulled there was interesting. I'm going to start off by saying I actually did not need to get any of my wisdom teeth pulled at all, because they were in pretty decent condition, but a few of them I had gotten fillings put into. And so I know that my dentist told me before I left that I needed to get them pulled, but the way that my pockets were set up, I didn't have money for that. So I was like, they're not hurting me, they're not bothering me, I'm gonna just leave them alone. Now my doctor, when I went to the Peace Corps, they told me my teeth were fine and that I didn't need to get them pulled. But since I had fillings in them already, I was thinking, you know, they're wisdom teeth, I don't really need them anyway, I can get them pulled for free. So I decided to go ahead and just get them pulled on Peace Corps' dime. And so I got them pulled on 3 separate occasions. My goal was to go in and have the dentist pull it 2 on this side and 2 on this side. He wasn't really having that. He really wanted me to get them pulled 1 tooth at a time, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna take forever, but okay. And so when I went in for my first visit, he did the analysis on my teeth. He was just like, your teeth are fine, you really don't need to get them pulled, are you sure you want to get them pulled, etc., etc. And I'm like, yes, I'm sure, it's okay. He was like, no, intellect. He frumos the dents. And I'm like, I know, but I don't want them, so can you pull them? And so in Europe, when you get your teeth pulled, unlike in the States, they don't put you under. So I wasn't like I got any type of like laughing gas or whatever to kind of knock you out. I was completely awake the entire time I got my tooth pulled. All he did was like numb my area where he was going to be working on. And so this one was the first one I got pulled. He just numbed that area. Actually, I lied. This one was the first one that I got pulled. He injected it with a needle, numbed it, and literally I was up the whole time, and he came in with this clamp and literally just started kind of like yanking at the tooth, and my head was going back and forth. And I guess the way that the root was on this one, it was kind of curved a little bit, so it was very, very difficult for him to get that tooth out. But what he did was he took something and like essentially cracked my tooth. Like I could feel the pressure when my tooth was cracked. So he cracked it into like smaller pieces and just slowly started removing those tiny pieces. Again, I didn't feel any pain, but I felt all the pressure from him cracking it and moving it and trying to just like manually pull it out. So yeah, it didn't hurt at all. And it was funny because when he pulled that tooth out, the tooth right in front of it has a crown on it. My crown popped off, and he told me, you know, it's not worth me getting the crown put back on right now. Just keep it, because it might have gotten, like, that area might have gotten infected. It had already been through enough trauma. And so I had my crown to the side, and I let this side heal. They sent me home with 400 milligram ibuprofen. And that was it. Like, I didn't get any other type of pain medication. Like I said, all he did was numb me, yank it out, and send me home with some ibuprofen. And luckily, it wasn't that painful once the numbness wore off, and it healed very quickly. So I just had to make sure I didn't eat on that side of my mouth. And after that, went back and put my crown on. All was well. Now, fast forward maybe like a couple of weeks later, after that one's healed a little bit, then he took this one out. Same deal. Took me in, numbed it, cracked it, moved it around, yanked it out, sent me home with some ibuprofen. Now this one over here, this was an interesting situation. So I get to the dental office, right? Check in, I'm sitting in the waiting room, and it's dark in there. And I'm like, okay, why is it dark? Because I kind of need to get this work done on my mouth. And this was nearing the end of my service too. So I was like, I really want to try and get all of my teeth pulled before I finish my service, so I don't have to worry about it when I get back home. But yeah, the lights were off, and then I get into the actual office. The dentist was like, I'm so sorry, I apologize, but our lights are out. And he was just like, you know, I can still pull your teeth today. but he was still kind of pleading with me, why are you getting your teeth pulled? They're so beautiful, blah, blah. And he actually said, so not this one, the one that he cracked, but the one up here that he pulled, he had actually kept the tooth and like put it on display to show like his students or whatever that it was a perfectly good tooth that was pulled. And I don't know exactly what else he said to the kids about the tooth, but I guess he was just showing that, you know, people get teeth pulled that are good. I don't know. But he mentioned that to me and I was just like, that's fine, you know, I ain't gonna do nothing with the tooth anyway. And so then this tooth over here, lights were out, it was all dark, and he was just like, I can still pull it today or we can reschedule for another day when the lights are back on. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, like I'll leave in a couple, like I think it was like a month and a half or 2 months left in my service, and I'm like, I really need to get this tooth pulled so I can go and get this one pulled so that I can be done before I leave. And I was just like, no, just go ahead and pull it, it's okay. And he was saying, yeah, so we don't really need any items that require electricity. He was like, we have the numbing, you know, anesthetic or whatever, and we have the tools, the clamps or whatever to pull the tooth out. So if you still want to do it, let's do it. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And so I kid you not, we used flashlights on people's cell phone to pull my last tooth on this side. And I was just like, what am I doing? Where am I at? What is going on? So yeah, the hygienist took out her cell phone, turned the light on. The dentist took out his cell phone, turned the light on, and it was like 2 other people in there holding it. Like the guy who took me to my appointment from Peace Corps, he was holding it. So it was like 3 cell phones from all angles. One was up here, one was down here, and then somebody was holding it kind of right here. And he put the needle in, injected me with the numbing solution. It numbed up really well. He took the little clamp like he did with the other ones, moved it around, yanked it, cracked it, pulled it out, all in the dark. Like it was so crazy. But the dentist, he was very professional. He knew exactly what he was doing. I felt very comfortable with him working on me and everything. And yeah, so I got 3 wisdom teeth pulled, and I still have 1 more left up here. I thought about getting it pulled. I went to a dentist here, and they were saying that I don't necessarily need to get it pulled, but if I wanted to, I could. And I figure if it's not bothering me, it's not doing anything, I want to just leave it alone. So I still have 1 wisdom tooth. So does that make me wise? I don't know. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you all enjoyed this story. It is true, and I'm glad that my healing process went well with getting my teeth pulled, and that I didn't have to get put under. It was kind of nice actually being awake and kind of seeing what they actually do, because I had an old coworker tell me that when she was getting her husband was getting his wisdom teeth pulled, and I guess like the laughing gas that they gave him to put him under wasn't enough, and he woke up halfway through the procedure, and he woke up with the doctor on top of him like trying to yank his tooth out. So I'm glad I didn't have that experience. I was wide awake, I was fully aware of everything that was happening, and it was an overall pleasant experience. I will say the healing for this particular tooth was probably the most painful out of all of them, and I don't know what was so different about it, but the ibuprofen they gave me just didn't quite work with that one. So there was like a lot of throbbing when it was healing, but besides that, it went great. So yeah, I mean, I know it can be kind of scary going to doctors and dentists and just medical professionals in general in other countries, but if you have like a good physician that really knows what they're doing, or a good professional that knows what they're doing, then you really don't have anything to worry about. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'm glad that you tuned in for this edition of Tales from the Peace Corps, and stay tuned for the next one. I'll see you in my next video. I thought it'd be kind of cool to do this outro in Romanian. Eu sper că voi aveți o ziua plin de distracție și frumoasă. La revedere!